So it's been maybe like a week and a half since my last touch point on my latest friend breakup. And I hate to say it like that because one of my insecurities with this whole thing is like wondering if there's something wrong with me because I've had multiple friend breakups. But yeah, the latest friend breakup, the one where I said maybe I hate her. Now, after these days have passed, I don't hate her. I'm just sad. And if I, pull up a feelings wheel to see what's under sad, sad specifies into hurt. Ugh, I hate this. Okay, there you go. Sad specifies into hurt, which further goes into embarrassed and disappointed. I definitely feel disappointed. Sad can go into depressed, which is inferior and empty. Definitely feel those. Sad can go into guilty. I don't really know if I feel guilty, but guilty further diversifies into remorseful or ashamed. I don't think I'm ashamed of anything. Remorseful because I missed her birthday, and I missed her birthday for a stupid reason. If I planned things out better, I definitely could have gone. And I think, my brain is wondering, I'm wondering if maybe she started to feel distant from me because I missed her birthday. So I don't know. And I feel remorseful that I missed it. But other than that, I don't feel guilty. And at the end of the day, like, she never told me she was upset about me missing her birthday. So I can't assume that without confirmation. Otherwise, there's like no point. Despair, powerless, and grief. I think I feel both of those in the sense I feel powerless because I want to be like, why don't you like me anymore? But there's no point in asking a person that. And then grief because obviously I'm mourning the relationship. And then vulnerable, fragile, and victimized. I don't necessarily feel victimized. Yes, in a way, because this whole voice memo is going to come off as me being a victim. But I don't necessarily like feel that way generally. Like, this is the place where I can just vent off the dome. But I think after talking through these things, I'm not going to feel so victimized anymore. But I definitely feel fragile. I think I was already feeling fragile because I'm going through a flop era, and then this made me way more fragile. And then the last one under sad is lonely, abandoned, and isolated. Definitely feel that way. I feel abandoned because I'm going through a flop era. I really could have used the support and I don't have it. And then isolated because I just feel like alone. Like, I'm kind of alone in my city right now. Don't really have a lot of people to lean on. And that sucks. This could have been a person I leaned on, and I don't have that. But all that to say, yeah, the anger has passed. I'm really just sad. And most of all, through this entire process, I've asked myself, what makes me different than this one particular friend I used to have? And the reason I keep asking myself that question is because when I went through a major depressive episode a couple years ago, I had a friend, a best friend. I pushed away all my friends, but this particular friend was really angry at me. And we're not friends anymore because of what happened. And it's a notable situation because let's call this friend Sarah. So Sarah and I aren't friends anymore because I pushed her away during that depressive episode. This depressive episode was like 3 years long. And I pushed away everybody. Everyone, every close friend, family I had, I really, isolated myself and like cut ties. And as I got better and came out of that, I basically reconnected with everybody except her. And she, the one time I tried to connect with her, like before we went on this trip, that was already like pre-planned from like ages and ages ago. She was like, I don't want to do this before a trip. I'm not interested. And I was really hurt by that because it took a lot for me to try and then to be shut down like that with no alternative, you know, suggested. She never reached out to me again and I didn't reach out to her. And eventually I concluded, that was my effort and she didn't reciprocate it and I'm okay with letting it go. All that to say, through this friend breakup, I've been asking myself, what makes me different from her? Like, why am I different? Am I literally just being the same? Because that friend really, really hurt me. That friendship breakup with Sarah was devastating. And it was it made that depressive episode so much harder, feeling like a bad person because I pushed away my friend and then they didn't want to talk to me anymore. Do you get what I mean? Like, it was already a hard time because my brain was broken, but then on top of that, I just felt guilt and shame for isolating myself and pushing my friends away. And, some of them, like, I understand, like, some of them fed into that feeling is what I'm trying to say. Like, Sarah let me think that I was the villain. And now that I'm in a better place, still in a flop era, but more healed from that time, I can't believe I spent so long thinking of myself as a villain when I was really sick. I understand where their hurt comes from because I wasn't a good friend and I wasn't very clear about what was happening. But at the same time, I really failed to be on my own corner. And I learned that if you are not in your own corner, people will eat you up. And what I mean by that is, if you don't stand up for yourself, people will push a narrative onto you. And that goes for a lot of things in life. And that's what happened there, Like, I thought of myself as a villain. I felt guilty. I felt like a bad person. And then a lot of people were like, yeah, you are. You did abandon us. And that was stupid because I was sick. And I wasn't throwing a party, like, when I wasn't talking to these people. Like, I wasn't talking to anybody, and I was suffering. And I think there's also a part of me now that finally realizes, okay, yeah, I didn't say exactly what was going on, but after a while, the way that I looked, the way that I acted, the way that I sounded, everything had changed. So I think somebody could have clued in that something was wrong and maybe been a little bit more compassionate to me. But, everyone else is living life for the first time too. I learned a lot from that time about, being vocal about your needs and like leaning on people. And I think a lot of my friends learned with me, not Sarah though. And so I'm kind of mad at Sarah because I also don't think she was being that great of a friend. But all that to say, I keep asking myself what makes me different from her in this situation, because I'm mad at this friend that's ghosted me. And like, what am I just being am I just holding a grudge and not being very, like, I don't know, like, life is so much better when you don't hold on to things and you're just, chill. Life doesn't have to be that serious because it is serious, So I think the answer is I'm not like Sarah because I know that I'm not just angry, that I'm sad, and I can say that. And I think if me and this friend ever spoke to each other again, I would tell her that. Like, yeah, I was angry at first, but really I'm just really hurt and I'm really sad. And I was really, really sad especially because I made friends with this person after that depressive episode. And I really went in the opposite direction. Instead of abandoning people, I put so much effort into my friendships. I put so much effort into her. Like, I really tried to be communicative and open about where my head was at and like a supportive person. I tried to be the friend that I wished that I had. And I really think that I was. And what I've learned is one, just because you do that does not mean you're going to get it back. And two, I think I put her as like level one friend, but I just simply wasn't that for her. And that's okay. Like, that's just sort of a thing that happens. But then, kind of going off of one, I was really vocal about where my head was at and what I needed. And after we had that talk about, like, where she told me I hurt her and we talked it out, I told her, hey, like, it really hurt me that you had come back to the city and not said anything. So please don't do that again. And then she did it again. That really hurts me because I spent 3 years telling myself that the reason that it was my fault that my friends weren't, you know, able to help me because I wasn't the one speaking up. So this time I did speak up and I still didn't get what I needed. And that was really tough to swallow. So I'm hurt about that, and I think I would tell her that. And, you know, there's a part of me that's still, it's not angry, it's irritated because, you know, there's like a hypocriticalness about this whole thing, you know. She keeps friends with people that actually suck, but then she can't, like, she's perhaps too anxious to like talk to me. That feels irritating. But mostly, I think that's just like my ego, you know, piping up. It's not, it's really, I'm just sad. And part of me wonders, like, as far as I care, if you hear my cat in the background, I had to lock him in my room because he was being extremely naughty, and I'm trying to teach him not to jump up on the counter. So I had to put him in my room, and he doesn't want to be in there anymore. But there's still like a couple of minutes left on the timer before I can let him out. Where was I? Okay. I think ultimately the lesson that I can take from this is I should demand more from my friendships. And I'm allowed to want. And I spent so long telling myself that I was the villain and I was bad and I was wrong. And then went to the other extreme. I think now I realize, one, I wasn't the villain. I was a sick person and I did do things wrong, but also life wasn't being very fair to me either. I am allowed to have, you know, requirements in a friendship. And I'm allowed to say, this isn't enough for me and I don't like this anymore. And I'm allowed to say, I don't need you to do for me. I don't need you to reciprocate, you know, the things I do for you. It's not tit for tat. Like, if I get you coffee, I don't need you to get me coffee. If I try to like host Sunday dinners, I don't need you to be also hosting things. I don't want to I don't want to be the type of person who does stuff expecting things in return. I just want to live as the person that I wish, you know, existed in the world. Oh my god, he's like sticking his paws under the door. It looks very sad. Okay, anyways. I think all that I want is, if I'm in a friendship, I want to feel loved and cared for. And by that I mean, I wish that she would care enough about me to at least tell me if I had upset her. If like something happened again that made her angry with me, I wish she loved me enough to like tell me what that was. I wish she loved me enough to, you know, try to make plans with me after she came back to the city. Just one plan, you know, like we didn't have to see each other every week, even though that's what I really, really wish for. I can't expect that from her. So I wish she just loved me enough to be straight up with me, but I guess not. And that is really sad. That someone I love that much doesn't love me back like that. And it's just really unfortunate that it happened to happen at the same time as this flop era. Oh, what I was saying before was I'm the one that texted her last, and there's a part of me that wonders, did that text go through? I have this habit of deleting text threads. Like I'll send a message and then delete the thread so I don't have to see it anymore. I'll get a message and I'll delete the thread because I don't want to see it. I'm just that person. And I have my messages set to delete every 30 days because I don't know, I don't like keeping that stuff. I don't care. But because of that, I have no way to know if those messages actually sent. She was out of town. Like her leaving town for a work trip was the catalyst for us not talking. Like from that moment we haven't spoke. So part of me wonders, did she not receive those messages and she thinks, like, who was the last person to text? Who was the last person to text? I'm pretty sure it was me. Well, what if it wasn't? But then again, like, this is just me trying to come up with reasons of why to possibly explain this. But unless she says something, I don't know. Like, I can't assume. And I acknowledge and I accept that I am not gonna be the one to like reach out and try to clear the air right now. I just don't have it within me. This is a time in my life where I need to be taken care of and I need to like lean on my friends, and I'm not getting that from her. Like, I just can't expend effort in that direction. And I know she isn't going through a hard time. Like, she's on her socials, she's in her job, she like makes plans with her other friends, and I also know it's not like a similar situation to what happened with me a few years ago. But then, okay, so then the deeper thing about this, the side with where my ego is really affected, and this has nothing, this is just something that I needed to like vent about. I would never bring this up to her if we ever spoke. It's just something that bugs me, and I don't really know. It's like a life problem that I have. It's exacerbated by this situation that happened with her, but if this is where I'm going to sound like, I'm going to sound like such a victim mentality. Like, it's stupid. It might just be like me projecting, but I have this like irritation with the world, with my life, because I really want to see my friends all the time. I want community. Like, I want to be with my friends all the time, and I try. Like, I put in the effort to try to do that. But then I don't get that reciprocated. A lot of my close friends who are really awesome people, they just don't have it within themselves. Like, it's just not their priority. Like, they either are focused on their relationships, their jobs, their careers, other things that, seeing their friends all the time isn't a priority. And so I feel like I am constantly the one that has to like has to be the one that's not satisfied, gets the short end of the stick. Like, I want to see my friends, but they don't have the same priority, so I'm the one that just like is left unsatisfied. And that pisses me off. And I feel like because I have that mindset or that feeling, it happens to me more often because it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, I find myself in situations where that happens over and over again. And at some point, it's like, I must be the common denominator. But it happened with this friend. Like, I always tried to include her in stuff and introduce her to my other friends and, like, do. But she never really did that back. And, I mean, I just felt like I was getting the short end of the stick. But that was just, like, a thing in my head. Like, that's not something I hold against her. It's just shitty because I don't hold that against her, but like she didn't care for me enough to like tell me what was bothering her. So that's the thing that actually bothers me and I would bring up to her. But yeah, this is just like a thing in my head where I'm just like mad at the world. Like, why do I keep ending up in this situation? I'm not asking for a Lamborghini. I just want to be like hanging out. I'm so jealous of people who like just see their friends all the time and they're always hanging out and it's like so communal. That's all I want. But I just haven't ever been able to like get that. And then I go through situations like this, and it's so irritating. But yeah, I don't really know how to mourn this to move through the feeling of sadness either. Like, I'm bad at processing my emotions instead of intellectualizing them. So that has been kind of tough, but it's what I want to focus on next.